From Bakersfield to the corners of Kern County, the best moments from your Golden Empire gridirons. 17 Sports Director Taylor Shaw, football analyst, Renegade head coach R. Todd Littlejohn. This is FFX, the Sunday Expanded Edition. Driven by Sangera Subaru and Dignity Health, Mercy and Memorial Hospitals.
Well, Coach, it's that time of the week again. All right, hello and welcome everybody to another special Sunday Expanded edition of FFX. I'm Taylor Schaub, and joining me is the always dapper R. Todd Littlejohn, head coach of the Renegades. Week 2 already, Coach, and this was a good one.
Yes, it was, and it's hard to believe that we've already finished week 2. You know, it takes so long to get to this point, and now week 2 and some really good games that we were able to see.
All right, Coach, what's it time for?
It's time to give the people what they want.
Gather round. It's time for your FFX Game of the Week, powered by SCOE, your Southern California Orthopedic Institute.
Coach, we start with a wild one in downtown Bakersfield. Frontier and BHS, a rematch of last year's dramatic D2 semifinal. That was a great game.
Yes, it was, and I know Frontier had a lot of revenge on their mind as well.
That game went down to the wire, and we take you high above famed Griffith Field, courtesy of our friends at Valley Sports Media. The Drillers are looking to bounce back after a 53-point loss in Week 1 and have Washington commit Tybo Rogers back in the fold. Well, Frontier wants to exact a little bit of revenge. Opening, kickoff, special teams.
Already week 2, special teams was a huge factor, got Frontier off on a great start.
That's John Appleton making his way to the end zone down the left sideline. It's a house call. It's 6-zip Titans. A BHS fumble puts Frontier back in the driver's seat, and Bryson Tablet makes his way into the end zone.
No doubt, and Frontier was able to score 13 points in less than 4 minutes. Big plays.
All right, Malachi Statler. That's the new quarterback over at Frontier, and he's very good.
I'm sure we'll hear his name quite a bit the rest of the year, too.
Look at this catch from Tybo, already making an impact.
There he was, Moss-like.
Start of the comeback for the Drillers. This would be their last touchdown in the game, and they came so close. That made it 27-24, but Frontier hangs on and wins it. Here's Chris Bandy.
Yeah, it was. I told the kids, it was going to be a war, man. It was a battle. We hung on for dear life, but we ended up on top at the end. So it was a great game. Our kids, their intestinal fortitude showed tonight, so we're proud of that.
Coach, you know that one feels good for Chris Bandy and company.
It does, but it hurts my heart. It's some Drillers.
All right, in the Southwest, Liberty looking every bit as good as the team that made it all the way to state last season. Patriots blew out Spanish Springs in Week 1. And Week 2, well, Coach, they brought more of the same.
Yes, it did, actually.
Brian Nixon's well-oiled machine hosting Ridgeview, coming off a 35-point loss in Clovis, and it'd be the exact same thing. First quarter, Pat's already up 7. Cameron Dangerfield, Coach.
Their ground game is really starting off great after 2 games, and it'll pay dividends later on down the season. 123
yards on the ground in that score, and then it's Jalen Hankins.
Hankins, we're going to hear his name quite a bit, as we did last year.
Already 21 zip Pats, and here's another one of Hankins just for fun. You're right, Coach, we keep hearing his name.
All the time.
Breaking tackle after tackle as the Patriots blank the Wolfpack 35-zip. Let's take a look at Hankins' final stat line in this one. 49 yards, those 2 touchdowns. Liberty has a bye. Let's hear from Brian Nixon.
We only had 3 offensive series the first half. Our defense was on the field the entire time. Happy they kept them out of the end zone. We learned a lot, and that'll be good for film.
All right, after getting rocked by Lozelle and the #1 quarterback in the nation, the Garces Rams were on the road looking to rebound against Paraclete, and rebound they did. That's David Smith.
Yes, it was. Anytime you can win on the road, too, that's a sign of a good team, and they got their ground game going early, and obviously it paid off.
94 yards and the score for the young running back, and then it's Jordan Gallegos, the transfer from Stockdale, making an impact.
Very nice. Great job of following his blocker as well and got his way to the end zone.
Well, he rushed for 2 TDs, threw for another as the Rams dominated in this one. Let's take a look at the final. 41-7. Smith ends Week 2 with 154 yards on the ground, 9 carries, 2 rushing touchdowns. Over in Delano, after a pair of hard-fought losses, both Kennedy and Stockdale were looking to find the winner's circle for the first time this fall. Thunderbirds' late rally fell just short in Fresno last week, but Coach, tonight? Coach, Sunday was a different story.
Yes, it was, and boy, this was a tough game, back and forth. I thought that Kennedy would pull it out, early, and sure enough, man, back to back.
You just saw Julian Orozco to Guyme's helm. That was a dart 7-zip. Look at the pick 6. Orozco was picked by Silas Orozco. House call.
That was a big play right there for Stockdale.
All right, Thunderbirds couldn't be caged. 30 seconds left in the half. Look at that touchdown.
Man, that's great concentration after a tipped pass, and hey, shoot, any way you can get a score.
Orozco was 5 of 8, 123 yards in those two scores as Kennedy wins 28-7. And how about Helm, Coach?
Helm had some really, really good numbers, and obviously those 2 TDs were crucial in the game.
BCHS, they got pounded on the coat.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That's a tough loss for them. I know some early miscues didn't help, and obviously they just couldn't get things going.
Yeah, St. Joe's had their way with BCHS in this game. A blowout, you don't see it very often, but 38-7, that's your final. Well, Coach, we've got way more FFX to come, and who says you need to throw the football? How one Warriors running back took the rock and got rough and rowdy against the Scots. Plus, it's time for another installment of Taylor's Trivia. Tonight we're asking, when was the last time Tehachapi went undefeated? Was it A, 2010, B, 2007, C, 2003, or D, 1993? The answer when we return.
You're watching FFX, the Sunday Expanded Edition, powered by Sangera Subaru, serving Kern County for over 50 years. You're watching FFX, the Sunday Expanded Edition, powered by Dignity Health. Hello, human kindness.
Welcome back. If you guessed D as in 1993, you got to go all the way back to 1993. That was the last time Tehachapi had an undefeated season. Now sitting at 2-0, the Warriors are still a very, very long way away from that perfect season, Coach. But one thing's for sure, this is the best Tehachapi has looked to start a fall in years.
Hey, whenever you can run the ball effective, man, I tell you, it keeps you in games.
All right, let's see how the Mountain Men did in week number 2. Warriors hosting Highland, 5 p.m. start. It was Mike Jones jamming his way into the end zone for an early score, 7-zip to Tehachapi. And then star running back A.J. Anderson, already at 14-0, cranks up the nitrous.
Yes, he does. And obviously they did a great job of keeping Highland's offense off the field too. It was very, very effective.
Second of 3 scores. And then how about a little passing play just for fun? Second quarter, Jacob Root finds Christian Morse, 13 yards in the score. The Warriors had 250 yards of offense in the first half alone. They take it 42-7. Now here's a look at Anderson's final stat line, Coach.
Man, big numbers, great efficiency in carries to yards rushing.
All right, out in Arvin, Koa Rhodes and the Road Warrior Generals looking to make it 2 straight to start 2022, but it was the Bears who drew first blood. Jonathan Moreno hits the gas and finds the end zone untouched. Arvin out to an early 6-zip lead, but earlier in the third quarter, Rhodes finds Marion Sloan over the middle, and he could run all the way to Shafter, Coach.
Yeah, yes, he could. He looks like he was about to as well.
Shafter hangs on to win it 20-19. That's a close one. All right, in the high desert, Miramonte finds the winner's circle for the first time in 2022, besting those Boron Bobcats 12-8. Now, Coach, over in Taft, the Wildcats were looking to build off of an impressive Week 1 shutout, and man, they've been good. Meantime, Trojans looking to rebound after a brutal loss at the hands of Boron. First quarter, Taft quarterback Jace Moore calling his own number.
Yes, he was, and he was doing a great job of seeing things and then being able to use his feet to get out of trouble.
All right, 7-zip, Wildcats, Trojans, not taking that lightly, ensuing kickoff. It's Daron Rodriguez, house call.
House call, special teams once again effective.
All right, Taft, they kept running the football down the Trojans' throats all night. Look how good these Taft Wildcats are to start the year.
They've been doing a great job at home, and running the football has been so effective thus far.
48-18. That is your final. Now, would you believe that's only a small portion of the action taking place across our county? That's right, 17's Chris Burton joins us in studio now with a rewind of the rest of week 2.
Well, Taylor, we saw blowouts, we saw beatdowns. We are already starting to see the haves and have-nots around the county. Here's a look back at some dominant displays in all corners of the central section. Play began in Porterville Thursday evening. The night sky, the only pretty picture South would see all night. First quarter, Panthers quarterback Rocky Aragrijo finds Marlo Rodriguez. Hernandez 30 yards and the score. Panthers never look back. Porterville blanks South 49-0. Vikings setting sail to Delano looking to right the ship. The Tigers had other plans. Already up 7-0. This is Denny Pena plowing his way in for the 12-yard touchdown. Delano dominates West 37-7 that final. Golden Valley eating up East up 7 in the second. Rafael Valderrama tosses it up to Nicholas Abbott. Look at that leap. Caps off a 76-yard drive. Valderrama 9 of 14 for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. Bulldogs roll 28-7. And on the coast, Centennial continuing its sizzling start to 2022. Jayhawks quarterback Adam Kopis follows up a 3 TD debut with 362 yards in the air and 3 more scores. Centennial ended with 546 yards of total offense. They crush Arroyo Grande 39-7. And staying in slow, the Stars rebounded on the road. North up 10-7 in the second. Kyle Dillon breaks free. The junior had 217 yards on the ground and 3 scores. Stars rush for nearly 400 yards. They take it 37-14. And at Chavez, the Titans couldn't carry over the momentum from week 1. Titans falling 39-20 at the hands of Menachie. In the Battle of Tranquility in McFarland, it was just a single point that gave the Cougars their first win of 2022. 7-6 the final there. And Kern Valley fell to Sierra 37-28. And that's a look across the county from week 2 of the 2022 high school football season. And let's take a look at the top teams in the central section. These are all according to calpreps.com. After back-to-back blowouts, your Liberty Patriots sit atop the list, followed closely by Buchanan, Memorial, Central, and Hanford. And fresh off a nice bounce-back win, Garces slotted in at the number 6 spot, while Frontier rounds out the top 10 after edging out BHS. Now, the Patriots have a bye this week before they take on the second-rate Bears on September 9th. Taylor, Coach, back to you guys.
All right, Coach, it's time for the best thing I saw this week, and it comes courtesy of Liberty. Already a blowout when Cole O'Brien finds Xander Chisholm, who takes it 45 yards for the score, but check out the celebration. Wait. Oh! I love that. Was that a crane? What's he doing there?
I'm not quite sure, but it was something a little new.
All right, coming up on FFX, it's game week at Memorial Stadium. That's right, Coach will break down the keys to success against LA Pierce and provide exclusive insight from Saturday's scrimmage. Stick around.
FFX is proud to be fitted by Finos. When it comes to quality men's suits in Bakersfield, Finos menswear and tuxedo is all you need. Huddle up. It's time for Coach's Corner with Renegade head football coach R. Todd Littlejohn.
All right, it's time for Kern County's favorite segment, Coach's Corner. Here to bring you the wisdom of a lifetime inside the lines, R. Todd Littlejohn. Now, Coach, there's one issue that we're already seeing week in, week out in the 2022 fall high school football season, and that's lack of depth on rosters across the county. What kind of impact does this have for teams?
Major impact, actually, because when, one, you're talking about conditioning, and unfortunately, if you don't have that depth, you're going to ask your players to go both ways, and really, 3 ways because of special teams. It could definitely wear out on those guys. And of course, if you have any injuries, now your backup at certain positions could have a significant drop off. And 2, if your JV or your freshman programs, you have some young men that at those positions aren't ready, that could really have a toll on you as it gets later in the season.
These start times, they keep getting moved back, and obviously it's for the health and safety, but how much does that affect the play of these kids, right? You play a random Thursday game here. Now you're playing an 8:30 start here. You may be playing a 5 o'clock game like Tehachapi.
Interesting to me, because if you think, all of these programs, they practice at that time. So I'm not quite sure why they would move it later, and I'm sure part of the reason is to accommodate the fans, but those players are used to practicing in the heat. I mean, we live in Bakersfield, we live in a valley, so and they've been training all summer as a reason, for things like that. It could definitely have an effect, the start time, because now your body clock and your playing clock does get thrown off a little bit. But as I mentioned last week, players and coaches are used to adjusting. So, you just adjust to do what you have to do. And of course, early on, the first part of the season, it'll be more adjustments than it will probably midway and then through the end of the year as the time changes, as the weather changes as well.
All right, Coach, you're an expert, so let's go ahead and get your picks of the week. We have 3 games that I singled out here that I just can't wait to hear what you think. Let's take a look at the first one. It's CVC at BCHS. BCHS 1-1, just got stomped. CVC, very, very good. And look at that, California ranked. They're way ahead of BCHS. Who do you have in this one?
Ooh, I know my BCHS guys will be probably mad at me, but well, you know what? I'm going to go with BCHS. I think they'll have a good week and be able to bounce back.
Bounce back. Okay, Bullard at Frontier. Frontier coming off a high of beating your Drillers. Who do you have?
I'm going with Frontier.
Look at that.
Well, absolutely.
He's going with Chris Vandy and them boys. Okay, Independence at Centennial.
Ooh, this will be a tough one. I will give the nod to Centennial this week.
Independence made a state championship game last year. The Centennial Golden Hawks are 2-0. Coaches taking the Golden Hawks. All right, Coach, it's time for Renegade Report, and the countdown clock is officially on. Your team takes on LA Pierce in 6 days. Coach, how are you guys feeling?
We feel pretty good, I think. No, we're feeling pretty good, which is good. We're healthy, and we'll be ready to go.
Okay, you guys just had a scrimmage against West Hills. What were the key takeaways from that?
Key takeaways, we did very, very well in not turning the ball over, which is a big emphasis. We were able to capitalize scoring in the end zone, and we got 3 takeaways. Tough part, we dropped 2 additional interceptions, but nevertheless, anytime you can get some takeaways, it's good.
Okay, what position group has impressed you most in camp?
Wow, ooh, probably the D-line, to be honest with you. They make things go. They make it very easy for the linebackers in the secondary. Okay,
Coach, and what are 3 things that the Renegades need to do to beat LA Pierce?
Got to take care of the football. I mean, that is so crucial. We cannot have any dumb penalties, any pre-snap penalties. We got to continue to take the ball back, create turnovers, and I think we'll be okay.
All right, the countdown clock is on, Coach, and that's going to do it for Renegade Report. But stick around because it's time to break out your Sunday best. Introducing your FFX Play and Player of the Week next.
FFX is proud to partner with Valley Sports Media. Follow at V Sports Media for exclusive football content throughout the season. It's trophy time. The FFX Awards, brought to you by Jerry's Pizza and Pub.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Week 2 provided so many highlight-worthy moments, it's hard to choose just one, but that's the job. Coach, it's time to hand out some hardware. That's right, our Week 2 FFX Play of the Week, and it's your Drillers, and it's Tybo time.
My Drillers, they had a great second half comeback. Tybo right there smokes the defense, and unfortunately a little bit Too little, too late.
All right, let's take another look at your FFX play of the week. The Drillers mounting a comeback late against Frontier. It would fall short, but Tybo Rogers, in his first game of the year, he looked impressive.
Moss-worthy right there.
Yes, it was. That is your FFX play of the week.
Your FFX Player of the Week is presented by Vertical Raise, the premier online fundraising platform.
Well, Coach, it's time for our favorite time of the show. We're going to crown our Week 2 king, and he traveled here all the way from Tehachapi. That's right, it's AJ Anderson coming off of that dominant performance against Highland. AJ, how does it feel to be the FFX Player of the Week?
I mean, it feels great. It's a big honor for you guys to send me the text like, hey, would you like to be on our show? It's a very big honor.
What was your theme music going into the game, this being a big game?
I mean, we just had the music in the locker room, and we were just ready. We came prepared because it's a good opponent that we were going against. We had high respect for them. They beat us last year, so we had to come in and be prepared.
Historically, the ground game has been so good. This program is being built back up. What does it feel to be a part of that?
Yeah, man. Tehachapi's kind of fallen off the map recently, so our whole goal this season is to bring it back onto the map, let people know that Tehachapi football is back, and yeah, we're very much a running team.
Okay, when you see that stat line, 19 carries, 221 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns, AJ Anderson, what do you say to yourself?
I mean, I just run the football. The O-line made beautiful holes. All I had to do was run through them and find my way to the end zone.
Okay, his name is AJ Anderson. He's extremely modest. He plays for the Tehachapi Warriors, and man, it's going to be fun to watch you guys this year. We are so excited. That's going to do it for the second installment of FFX. For more high school football coverage, just head to kgt.com and click on that FFX icon. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday at 11:11.